everything up to this point. Marvel fans got the news that the possibility of Spider-Man leaving the Marvel Cinematic Universe had become probable earlier in the week. This came about as a result of negotiations between Sony Pictures and Disney Marvel breaking down. As a refresher for anyone who may not be aware, Sony actually owns the film rights to Spider-Man, and Marvel Studios had previously worked out an agreement that allowed both studios to share the character. The continued partnership was up for a renewal. And as of the latest news, it's looking like Marvel Studios isn't going to be co-producing any future Spider-Man films. As of right now, Disney has yet to officially commit on the matter, but Sony took the opportunity to lay the blame on Disney, as noted when they stated, "We are disappointed, but respect Disney's decision not to have Feige continue as a lead producer of our next live-action Spider-Man film." Sounds like there's more than just money involved, though that is an important factor since reportedly Disney Marvel wanted the revenue split to be 50-50, while Sony balked at that idea.
We're doing all the pitching and batting and base fielding and you still want your cut? I don't even watch baseball.
Ultimately, this has the potential to get ugly if a possible decision isn't reached. This is because there's been no shortage of rage and grief from fans since the news originally broke that Sony decided to walk from negotiations. MCU fans have taken to social media to lament the possibility of Spider-Man leaving, with Save Spider-Man trending along with calls for a boycott of any Sony film that comes out featuring Spider-Man. However, it's not just the fans in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that have things to say about possible departure of a beloved Marvel character. That's why today, we're going to take a look at what some notable actors have said about the news and its implications, if any, on the future of Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Spider-Man is my character. If I can't have him, no one can.
Regardless, when actors and other celebrities get involved despite their own futures being of concern, it becomes clear the loss of Spider-Man will be felt by everyone. Hawkeye speaks. One of the most notable people who had something to say about Spider-Man's possible departure is Jeremy Renner, who plays Hawkeye. Jeremy originally partnered up with Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man back during Captain America Civil War. Both Hawkeye and Spider-Man have played important roles in helping make the Marvel Cinematic Universe what it currently is today, and Jeremy is all too aware of how important Spider-Man is to the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. For more on how Spider-Man was kind of set up to be the replacement of Iron Man in the MCU, check out our other videos here up next. Jeremy Renner goes on to show his concern as he posted the following on social media. "Hey, Sony Pictures, we want Spider-Man back to the real Stan Lee. At Marvel, please. Thank you." As we know, Renner is one of the original Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and is considered one of the big six. If anyone's going to have the clout to say something so bold without repercussion, it's going to be him or another of the original six. It also bodes well that Jeremy has a reputation of being a rebellious type, making it easy for him to say what we're really all thinking, but not face trouble down the road. Hopefully, it also means that such a weighted opinion can help influence the executives in charge to consider more than just the bottom line in the ongoing negotiations. Hey, I know what makes the most money, guys. Seriously, if that's what you're concerned about, not having a character or a movie at all. Deadpool snarks. Speaking of rebellious actors, no other actor demonstrates such a fly-by-the-seat of his pants mentally as Ryan Reynolds. Now that Fox has officially acquired Disney, everyone's favorite merc with the mouth is officially a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This means that originally, a possibility of Deadpool being the same movie as Spider-Man was at an all-time high, especially when you consider the original comic book source material.
I gotta start reading comics more often.
In the comics, Spider-Man and Deadpool work together a lot and really brought a perfect combination of buddy cop mentality and superpowers to the readers. Naturally, this would translate to fans wanting to see a similar team-up between the two characters on screen. This apparently applies to the actors themselves. In addition to fans clamoring for a boycott, they have also reached out via social media to Ryan Reynolds to save Spider-Man and even ask Ryan Reynolds if they will ever see a Spider-Man Deadpool movie. His reply, "You can, but you can only see it in my heart." This is actually pretty important when you consider how we even have Deadpool available on the big screen in the first place. Ryan campaigned for years to make a Deadpool movie. Yes, more on backstory on that. Thank you. Check out one of Up Next's other videos again. Yes, we saw him play Deadpool in X-Men Origins, but we all know that was not the Deadpool we deserved. In time, Ryan managed to give the audiences the Deadpool we all wanted and didn't know we needed until making his 2 solo films a smashing success. If he was able to bring the character to the big screen when the executives didn't want to and keep true to the comic book version, then imagine what this unique brand of negotiations could do when it comes to Spider-Man.
Ryan!
As of today, Reynolds has already been pushing to be a part of the Avengers films and more for Phase 4 and beyond. He's excited and interested in jumping in. Plus, Deadpool still has more to share with audiences after his first 2 solo films. Right this moment, Ryan can't help Spider-Man fans, but the longer negotiations go on, the more likely it will be for him to start sharing his opinion. He tends to get his way with anything not involving Hugh Jackman, so chances are good that something positive could happen in the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Reynolds for president.
Kevin Smith weighs in. It's not just Marvel actors who are interested in the future of Spider-Man. After all, celebrities of any level are fans too. Just like normal fans, they get invested in the characters they see brought to life on the big screen. One such celebrity fan, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith was shocked and appalled at the news that Spider-Man could be leaving immediately and took to his social media channels to voice his opinion.
Love those hockey jerseys, Kevin. Send one my way, please.
Remember, Kevin Smith is a loud and proud fan of all things comic books, so you can bet that he's going to be all about Marvel Cinematic Universe. Anyway, he had this to say in his social media.
No! Just stop it, please. Send me pictures. Give Disney what they want, and many millions of us would keep giving you money. Hey, Mark. Guess what? We'll be talking about tonight at SCV Cantina after we dish Masters Official.
#FatManBeyond.
You are a little care.
Clearly, he wasn't impressed with the news, and while he can't do anything in an official capacity, that's not where he shines. See, his reaction only serves to bring attention to the cause and adds more peer pressure, for lack of a better term. If the news hadn't broken, then the respective studios could just focus on the money. Fan reaction, when it's strong, has to be acknowledged at the least.
Fans want this!
End quote, Kevin Smith. Spider-Man breaks silence. Notably, of all the people who might have something to say about this news, Tom Holland has been silent. As we know, he's been playing Spider-Man since his debut in 2016 in Captain America: Civil War. He's currently contracted to play Spider-Man for another 2 films, regardless of who's at the helm, so it makes sense that he wouldn't want to rock the boat too badly. However, he still has ways of expressing his opinion in ways that won't get him in trouble. While he has yet to actually speak on what's going on, he notably unfollowed Sony on Instagram after the news broke that he may not want to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward. Honestly, that kind of move makes it clear he doesn't need to say anything since his actions spoke loud enough. He'll be professional and do what he needs to do, but he's not happy about it.
Here's revenue, huh?
We need to remember that it's not just the revenue at stake in this battle of $1 billion corporations. These negotiations also affect the actors and their future. Right now, Tom Holland has a couple of movies he has to film according to his contract, but he's now unable to collaborate with the other actors and actresses he's been working with. And let's face it, if Sony decides to handle Spider-Man themselves without MCU elements, we're going to get a different Spider-Man than what we've seen, which means it could, through no fault of his own, affect Tom's future in any other movies. Hello, Mr. Holland. So welcome to see you today on this wonderful contract signing day. Yes, I hope you've brought a pen. Oh, you don't have standard ballpoint blue or black? Well, no concern. Here, take mine. It's the standard issue sign with blood pen. Jon Favreau. We're going to take a moment to try and end things on a positive note with a look into Jon Favreau and what he had to say. Fans will know him as Happy Hogan, who was the longtime assistant to Iron Man and seemed to be attempting a relationship with Aunt May as part of Spider-Man Far From Home. While most are dismayed about the latest news, Favreau has remained optimistic that Happy and Peter Parker, along with Aunt May, will continue to work together. According to Jon, you never know what's going to happen. I'm holding out hope and being optimistic that this isn't the final chapter of the story between those characters, Favreau told Variety Angelique Jackson at Disney's D23 Expo in Anaheim. While it's great to see some optimism, it must be stated that Sony announced they would no longer partner with Disney and Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige. That being said, negotiations are still ongoing and the whole thing may blow over. If there's one thing that Jon's comment brings, its validity to the possibility of a positive reconciliation. After all, Favreau is one who directed the first Iron Man movie and has served as an executive producer in the past, so he is a little bit more in tune with the business dealings behind the scenes than most. Can you imagine being Kevin Feige yourself, kind of having the direction of the MCU in your hands and kind of planning out, hey, Spider-Man's going to be a foundation, and then all of a sudden Disney and MCU are like battling back and forth in the negotiating table. No, we want 50%. No, you get 49%. No, that was 50%. And then all of a sudden they just rip the guts out of one of your main characters and be like, deal with that. We just cut your next 10 years of storyline foundational elements apart. Lots riding on this. Final thoughts. When it comes to the short term, we're not going to see any winners except for Sony and Marvel. We can't deny that all of these negotiation details being leaked means that fans are more invested, if anything, in Marvel than they would have been otherwise. For all we know, these negotiations are just a giant publicity stunt to drum up interest with the idea of taking something away to make fans want it more. If this is the case, then that's just devious, to say the least. Especially for the Spider-Man series that's been plagued by terrible actors, actresses, plot lines, movies ripped out, directors dropping off, storylines being awful, rebooted, recast, redone, and now it's going to get killed by negotiations? Come on. It feels like the point of Apollo 13 after they stirred the tanks. Spider-Man's most famous line is, "With great power comes great responsibility." In the case of the studios, they should heed that just saying and proceed with due respect the character deserves. We all know that Spider-Man is insanely popular and will always find a way to be brought to life, but momentum is such a powerful thing. Right now, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is one of the hottest Marvel properties around, and mismanagement could prove to be costly for both studios. For now, we're going to keep watching, and any more news concerning the ongoing negotiations, we will be on top of, but we're also turning our attention to Phase 4 and beyond. Just because Spider-Man's future is in jeopardy, that doesn't mean Marvel Studios is taking it easy. They continue to announce new releases and new characters, so they'll still be doing what they do best. In the meantime, stay tuned for our next installment covering news, theories, spoilers, and ideas about all things related to Avengers, Guardians, actors, villains, and the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We'll be back soon, ready to discuss everything new Marvel Studios is bringing us. In the meantime, we're going to go unfollow Sony. Feel free to comment on any of the rules we may have missed that would be considered strange for actors to adhere to. Peace. Peace.